What's up, everyone? Welcome to the first episode of the Beat the Buzzer podcast. On this show, we'll be talking about the hottest topics in the NBA. And with me to explain how this show is going to work is my co-host, Graham Melchard.
Hello, everybody. How are we doing? So in each episode, we will be discussing the most interesting and hottest topics / team / players in the NBA. The twist is that we're going to give ourselves a certain amount of time to discuss each specific topic.
Perfect. Now that we've gotten to that, let's jump into it. With us both being huge Bulls fans, we're going to be recapping last night's game. Then we'll jump into Kyrie and Klay's return and talk about the first results from the AllStar voting. To start, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls game last night. So the Bulls beat the Wizards 130-122 in a very high-scoring game. Bulls advanced their win streak to 9 games and are hoping to move that on till tomorrow. So, Graham, what were your overall thoughts of last night's game? I know you were there.
I attended the game. 6 players over 15 points. Lonzo, Kobe, Levine, DeRozan, Vooch, and who's the last one?
It was Ayo.
Ayo, that's right. Yeah. And that's really great because, we have Kobe and Ayo coming off our bench, 2 players that we didn't really know how well they would work together, especially we haven't seen Caruso back, so we haven't seen all 3 of them play together.
Exactly.
But knowing that those 2 can play well together on the court, which is what they have, they've been playing a lot together.
Kobe's been great the last 4 games.
So yeah, it's been really good that they've been able to play well together.
Well, and I think the big thing is we're both talking about, should we trade Kobe? Should we keep him?
Right.
But it's not just his offense; it's his defense that's picked it up.
Exactly.
Ayo is both as well.
Yeah.
And if they if our bench scores more than the other team's bench, we're a hard team to beat.
100%.
Our starters are going to give us 80 to 100 points a game as it is. So
totally.
We're a deep team. I'm excited to get Caruso back, especially if hopefully he's back for Brooklyn and Golden State next week.
Right.
Those are 2 huge games, and if Caruso's back for those, we need defense, of course.
Yeah, so we're on this 9-game streak. We have the Mavericks, then the Pistons.
Yep. And then we go into a 6-game stretch.
Right. It's like Boston,
Brooklyn.
Cleveland.
I think it's Brooklyn, Golden State, Boston, Cleveland, Memphis, then Milwaukee.
Yes.
And I'm excited to play Milwaukee. I want to see how we look like against Milwaukee.
Giannis might have 75 points.
Have 75 points.
But it'll be good to see what we need for the deadline. And
agreed.
I don't know. I've been talking to you and my uncle about it a little bit, who we want to trade, because we know we need a rim protector.
We need a rim protector.
Somebody who can guard 4 or 5.
Right.
So I don't really want to trade Kobe White anymore, even though I've been talking about that all year. His defensive lapses have really been a problem, but he's picked it up lately with DeMar going out and Ayo going out. He's been really well.
Yeah.
Been doing really well.
And we've seen some games the play I go back to is the dive on the floor for the loose ball against Indiana.
Yes,
that was the biggest play of the game. DeRozan's shot was great, but that didn't happen without Kobe.
No.
And there's certain things I think he's realized that people are telling him, dude, Ayo's kicking your ass right now.
Right.
He's going to take your spot. He's playing better defense, and he's giving you just as many points. So you got to step it up. And I think he's took that personally, 100%. And now he's definitely becoming much better.
Yeah, so it's Mavericks tomorrow, then the Pistons, then Nets, and that's a back-to-back. We played the Nets on a back-to-back.
I'm hoping we can kill Detroit and get our starters on the fourth quarter.
Right.
That's what that game should be.
And I think it's in Chicago, so Kyrie will be playing.
It's on ESPN. Everyone should be able to watch that game.
Yes.
I encourage everyone to tune in for one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, both of us will be watching.
And Golden State, Chicago also got moved to ESPN. So they moved the game to ESPN.
I did not know that.
For national coverage.
Okay. Which is
deserving. They should. Definitely should.
All right, so let's go into the Warriors. Speaking of them, Klay Thompson is returning this tomorrow.
He should return tomorrow against Cleveland.
Okay, that'll be a fun game to watch. And I kind of wanted to get into that a little bit because the Warriors seem to have this older team, this dynasty, or the end of it, with Curry, who's 33 now, Thompson's 31, Draymond's also around 30, 31.
30s,
yeah. But they also have this very good young core of Kuminga, Jordan Poole, Moses Moody, and Wiseman.
It's very similar to their 2015, 2016 team before they had KD, where it was just, a lot of Klay, Steph, and Draymond versus pretty much everyone else.
Right,
and
totally.
Iggy and other guys on the side.
But yeah, this young core that they have it's great how I don't know how Bob Myers did it, but they have this young core that they are Steph Curry.
No, exactly.
Having Steph Curry as a mentor for Moses Moody type player is just a wonderful thing.
Gary Payne II said, "Great year." and Kuminga.
Right.
There's other young guys too that they've had. Like Wiseman hasn't played a game all year,
No, he is not.
and people like Curry has struggled the last couple of games. But remember, when
Yeah.
Klay Thompson comes in the game, you can't triple team Steph
Nope,
Curry, or Klay
not
Thompson will
anymore.
have 60 points.
Right, exactly.
It's
And Wiggins has
ridiculous.
been amazing
Wiggins
for
has been
them.
great, and he's like no one thought he would take the step, and now he took the step.
Right,
and
exactly.
they're getting everything they could helpfully ask for from him. So
Yeah.
we're actually going to give ourselves about 5 minutes here to talk about both Klay and Kyrie's return and whose we think is going to have a bigger impact down the line.
Mhm.
So we'll start with Klay. Klay will return tomorrow. We just talked about that. And Kyrie returned on Wednesday against Indiana, and he put up 22 points.
22 points. I don't think it was.
He started off slow, but got
Yeah.
into it in the second half. That was interesting. James Harden did struggle. Don't know if it's just a struggle because it's one game or if it was hard to get back in a groove.
Right.
But
Especially,
we'll see what they're like together.
I saw something. This is the first part-time player since 1962, Kyrie Irving.
Crazy.
So that that's gonna just be interesting to watch for the rest of the year. How they like work with. Oh, we're going to Indiana so Kyrie can play, and now we're going back to Brooklyn to play Chicago. Yeah.
Well, last night you saw Milwaukee killed him.
Right, without Kyrie.
Was it because Kyrie was gone, or was it because Milwaukee's that much better than them? We don't know, but that was just the game. That,
right. Totally.
Like, well, maybe it could be because of that.
So I don't know. I think Klay Thompson going to the Warriors or coming back is going to be more important.
I agree.
That is a very scary team. They're the best team in the league right now without him.
I think in the shorthand or the short term, Kyrie will definitely be better and bigger for the Nets.
Yeah.
But in the long term, I agree that Klay Thompson in the playoffs is defender, 20-point per game scorer, and the biggest thing he does is create more space for Steph.
Right, exactly.
And that's
you can't triple team him anymore, like you said. And having Andrew Wiggins to take that best wing defender now, so Klay doesn't have to do that for 40 minutes every night or whatever he is, or whatever he plays, is going to be huge for them.
Yeah,
he can focus on. I mean, he might be a step slow now, but
we all expect that. It's been 2 years since he played
2
in the basketball game. Because remember, he was gone for that year with the ACL. Tore his Achilles right before he was supposed to come back, so he's been gone for a long time. So I just know I don't think any NBA fan, no matter how much you like or dislike a player, dislikes Klay Thompson and doesn't want him on the court.
Exactly.
I want to play against Klay Thompson. I like as a Bulls fan, we play them next week, but I'd rather have them have Klay Thompson on the team.
Oh, totally.
Than not, because he's just a fun player to watch.
Yeah, I want to see how we match up.
Last time he was in Chicago, he had 14 threes.
14 threes.
Set the record.
The headband Klay. Yeah.
I was at that game. That was a rough game.
You were at the game?
Oh, it was bad. It was
bad.
My
gosh.
We were down 50 in the third quarter.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Bad game to watch.
But yeah, I'm really excited for that. And then the Kyrie Irving situation is just so unique. I don't know. I think having Kyrie Irving on your team for one game is better than having him on your team or half the games is better than none.
Like, no one doesn't want Kyrie Irving on the team, but how it affects KD and James
Harden, right? How he meshes
and their defense. I know Lance Stevenson had 30 points, and he's not always gonna have 30 points in that game against Indiana. But you let the Indiana Pacers have 122 points on you,
right? Indiana, who are have problems of their own.
Harris LeVert wasn't even playing.
Yes.
So imagine you just play like Milwaukee, Chicago, Golden State, Phoenix. They're going to put up a ridiculous amount of points on you, and that's a problem.
A thing with the Nets, though, is they aren't a very big team like the Bulls have. The Bulls have this similar problem.
Which is why I like our matchup there better than against teams like Milwaukee or Philadelphia.
Totally.
Because Embiid is just a monster.
100%. And like Nicholas Claxton, like we were talking about him earlier, he doesn't play all the time, and LaMarcus Aldridge is this like huge,
and he's skinny.
Paint protector.
He's not a paint protector,
right? Not at all. So I mean, when you look at it, Kevin Durant is their best rim protector, which is good because it's Kevin Durant and he's a great defender. But that's it.
But do you want Kevin Durant to be your best defender, best offensive player, and playing 45 minutes a night? Right. No, you want him to get a rest.
He is my front runner for MVP right now.
Oh, for sure, he is my front runner. I think Steph's behind him.
Yeah.
Biasly, I put DeMar up there at 3, but I think DeMar either way should be top 5. No doubt about that.
Jokic has the best stats out of all of them. We'll
get into our MVP and stuff like that in other episodes, but we do have about 30 more seconds to put some final thoughts on Kyrie and Klay. So I will say that I think Kyrie makes the better immediate impact, but down the line, Klay in the playoffs and stuff like that will be bigger, especially if Kyrie stays a part-time player.
Exactly. If he doesn't get this vaccine, he can only play at least half of their playoff games.
Oh, and imagine they get the first seed, and now you got to go Game 7 at home. But you don't have Kyrie Irving.
Exactly.
So that's.
I saw something about that. They were thinking they don't want. Somebody tweeted this. They don't want to have the first seed or do they or do they
Right.
not?
And
Because
probably
if
not.
they're the third seed and they're playing the Warriors, who are the first seed in the finals, they get Kyrie for Game 7. But I think you still
Exactly.
want the first seed. I
All
mean,
right.
home court advantage is such a big advantage.
There we are in that 5-minute time period. So we're going to move on now to the first All-Star voting results were released. We had KD leading the East forwards, DeMar leading the East guards. It was LeBron leading West forwards, and of course Curry leading the West
Right.
guards.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up right now.
As a Bulls fan, I was a little annoyed to see Zach LaVine at the fourth.
I
Really?
was.
Especially with James Harden over him. Don't get me wrong. James Harden, great NBA
Great player.
Great player. Top 10, 15 player in the league for sure.
Almost 120,000 more votes.
Right. But is he really that much? Like, LaVine's putting better numbers up. His team's better.
It's
I
more
get
efficient.
it's him and DeMar, but James Harden hasn't been having his typical James Harden type year.
Totally. And I can understand the Trae Young output. Trae Young has been
great.
on
His
another
team's
level
just not
this
as good,
year.
but that's not his fault right now because
No,
they've
it's
been
not.
dealing with COVID just like everyone else. But he's been carrying. He's having about the same amount of points per game as Zach.
Totally. And other things that annoy me about this, we got Derrick Rose with 200,000
Who
votes.
can't even play in the All-Star game.
Marcus Aldridge has 100,000.
Which is, like, come on.
I mean, he averages 10 points a game.
Klay Thompson is 4th in the West, and he hasn't played a game right now.
He has 350,000 votes.
It's ridiculous.
And we have Carmelo Anthony here with 320,000. I don't know how this happens, but you know, it's the fan voting.
Yeah,
people want to see.
I love fans voting. Gets the fans involved.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like that's why the coaches vote for reserves.
Right.
Because
you
can't make it a starter. Like James Harden may be a starter, but even if he wasn't, he'll be a reserve. He's James Harden. But Zach LaVine will probably be one of the first reserves that they pick because of how good his team has been, how good he has been this season.
And don't get us wrong either. James Harden is 22, 10 and 8 this year. Still a great season. He's pretty efficient too. But
and I love James Harden. You know, like I think he deserves a ring at some point in his career.
100%.
Hopefully not this year because I want the Bulls to beat them. Like,
yeah.
I love to see that. But he's no shade to James, but it's just not this year. I think LaVine is over him, whether I'm a Bulls fan or not.
And this is another thing too. We have LaMelo Ball with 422,000 votes, and we have Fred VanVleet down here with 108.
Now, if you Fred last night, 37, 10, and 10. What a night!
What a night! And if Fred VanVleet has been on fire this year, we're kind of under the radar because the Raptors aren't the best team. They're like the 7th seed right now.
Right. No one thought they were going to be a bottom feeder in the East, but they played great this season.
Point Scotty has been nice for them. If you look at the stats, Fred VanVleet has been doing more for his team than LaMelo Ball. Now, LaMelo Ball has been very, very good this year, and I think he does deserve an All-Star spot. But
for sure,
Fred VanVleet also deserves one as well. Yep. And then we have players like Darius Garland, who are these under-the-radar players.
Yep. The Cavs should have someone in the All-Star game this year.
At least it's in Cleveland. Yep. They need to have at least one.
I see Jared Allen probably being that one. There's too many good guards right now in the East, in my opinion. But Jared Allen for sure.
Nikola Vucevic, 92,000 votes.
Okay, now, Vuce had a bad start to the season.
Yes.
But in this 9-game winning streak, he's back up to around his 16 points and like 16 rebounds.
Boards. Yeah.
That's the big thing. Is Vuce, we are a very small team. If he's getting that many boards, then he's doing his job and he's doing something
playing
very
his role.
helpful.
And I think he's learned that. He was 0 for 4 from 3 last night, and I'm okay with him shooting 4 threes a game. He's shooting at like a 35% clip or something like that this year. But he's missing these baby hooks, and he's been missing them all year long.
Right, and my theory on that is we don't give him touches
No,
anymore.
we don't.
He's not timid inside, but he's like, wow, I actually have the ball in the post. What am I going to do with it?
100%. And in Orlando, he was the complete focal point of the offense, and here he has to adjust to being
even the beginning,
the third option.
When we got him last year, the trade deadline, he was great. Every time he shot, I was like, oh, he's going to hit this shot.
Right,
totally. He never missed.
Yeah,
he's getting back to that. His mid range is coming back.
Really
that's
nice.
big. If he can be the mid range player, then that's huge.
That pick and pop with LaVine.
It's going to be games that, like when we play against Philly or Denver or Minnesota with the good bigs, we need them out of the lane. So that's where Vuce's 3-point shooting does come into focus.
It really extends the
Vuce, can you hit 2 threes? Can you get Embiid out of the paint so DeMar and Zach can cut?
100%. And when we played Atlanta too, Clint Capella is one of the worst perimeter defenders in the league. So when he has to stretch the floor, he's a great interior defender, blocks the ball, grabs boards. But when Vuce is extending the floor like that, which he was, that's when we just killed Atlanta.
And you saw it too. Like we destroyed Atlanta in that fourth quarter because Vuce went crazy. It was DeMar at 35, Zach at 30, and Vuce at 24. Huge night. And we killed him the next night at the United Center.
Yeah, really big. Let's get into the Lakers a little bit. We have LeBron
Oh, yeah.
James playing some of the best basketball
At
of
the
his
center.
career still at the
They
center
are
position.
5-0 since he's been put in the center position, which I didn't see coming, but it is
No.
LeBron James. So
And they're dealing with problems. Russell Westbrook, Day to Davis.
great
Um,
nickname. That is a great nickname.
and people are always talking about on Twitter, yeah, they're going to go out and try and get another star at the deadline. They cannot do
No,
that.
they-
They have Russell Westbrook gets paid $44 million.
LeBron's up
LeBron's
there.
36 and Davis is 36. They have THT on that
He's 12.
exception, that
Oh,
$9
that's right, they have
million
an
mid-level exception, and then every other player is 1.6 million
Yeah,
on
the
that
veteran minimum
on
or
the
the
minimum
minimum.
deal.
Right.
Right. So
And
they can't trade like a Malik Monk
they're
type
only
player.
he's been great.
He's been
so
great
who
for
really
them.
wants it?
Yeah,
But their only trade asset is Russell Westbrook, and no one wants Russell Westbrook.
No.
And I think some of the things he has said to the media is like him, like, all people are expecting you to have 25, 10, and 10. I get that you're not Superman. Like, it's not like that. But
right.
also, go ahead and play basketball. You're turning the ball over 8 times in the quarter.
You
like,
lead the league.
Dude,
you
what
lead the league.
Stop complaining. Go out and play basketball. There's a reason people are questioning you. It's because you haven't had a good year.
100%. And he does not deserve to be an All-Star this year at
no
all.
chance. That's why we don't see him on that list. Or do we see him? Oh, he's at the
do
very
see
bottom
him,
at 9.
very
Okay.
bottom. And Damian Lillard, look at how low he is. Only 211,000 votes.
Then again, though, Portland is awful this season, and I think Dame's been out a bit.
He has
Yeah,
a little bit, but they've been a complete shit show.
Yeah. Can please Portland get in the playoffs? The Bulls want your pick.
Yes, please. We would
get in the
love that.
playoffs.
We need that 15th, 16th pick. We might trade that at the deadline anyway.
At this point, we might as well. Right?
Yeah.
If Portland seems like they're definitely out of it, I'm okay with packaging that.
Totally. For a Harrison Barnes or a Marvin Bagley type player, something like that. Kings, let us know.
So should we just, for the last thing, I'm thinking just talk about how long do the Bulls keep the streak going?
Right? Totally. So we have Dallas and then
Detroit,
and
then we place the big guns.
Right. Then it's Brooklyn.
So I don't know if Luka is playing tomorrow. I think I would look at that because he did tweak his ankle against who they play against Golden State the other night.
Yes, Golden State.
But he would hope. I hope he's back. It's fun to watch him play.
I don't know if he's out or not.
He was out versus the Rockets the other night.
Right.
I think recently in the last game. But I think if he does play, that's who you got to focus in on is Luka Doncic. He
100%.
You have 30, 10, and 10 on your head every night.
Yeah.
Every night. I do think that Dallas and Detroit are 2 games where no injuries, no one sits out, are 2 games that we probably could win for sure.
Yeah, so he's considered questionable for Sunday's game against the Bulls.
And Porzingis COVID protocols, correct?
I forgot they had they have Isaiah Thomas.
That's
right. Also out.
Who was also out. Okay.
They signed him to
Love Isaiah Thomas though.
Yeah,
he's back in the
great guy, little man. And then Detroit is dealing with a lot of injuries as well. Did you see Sadiq Bey had 35 points and beat? Who did they beat?
He had a buzzer beat, not a buzzer. He had a
did
game
they beat
winner.
Brooklyn? No way.
No, it was a game winner against San Antonio. I think.
Oh,
same
okay.
colors though.
Yes. But yeah, so it's Dallas, then Detroit, and then we play Detroit on the 11th, and then the next night it's Brooklyn.
Now, of course, that would be the first team we're okay, the streak may end here.
Right.
But it's also put the streak aside for a second. I know it would hopefully be at 11 games by then, but the game against Brooklyn and Golden State, I want to win regardless of if we were on a 10-game, 20-game, or 1-game winning streak. Those are 2 of the biggest games for the season. It'll prove that we're more legit than people think we are because, again, the Bulls are still underdogs in many people's minds.
Right, 100%.
And I think that...
and playing on a back-to-back in every...
Oh, of course.
Any NBA game is very hard.
Whether you're at home or not. That'll be a huge game.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to that. We haven't played Milwaukee yet this year.
Yep.
So I'm very excited to see how we match up against them. But like you said, I do think we match up against Brooklyn much better than we do against... a team like Milwaukee.
Right. And let's be honest, no one really matches up well against Giannis.
Or Kevin Durant for that matter.
Oh, exactly. But in terms of how we guard to guard and big to big, we look better against Brooklyn than Milwaukee.
Totally. Okay, so that's going to be all for today. Thank you guys for tuning into our first episode. If you guys have enjoyed that, if you want to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel, that would be awesome. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at @beat_the_buzzer.
Lastly, if there are any topics you guys would like us to talk about or thoughts that you have, please leave a comment down below because that way we can answer your questions in the comments or answer them in our next pod maybe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys later.